And we're live. Hello.
Yay.
Howdy.
Hello.
Howdy,
Hey,
everybody. How you
everyone.
doing?
Hello. How is everyone doing?
Thank you everyone for coming out tonight. We're so excited about the new album, and thank you to everyone who's already given us a listen, either on Spotify or YouTube or wherever you're listening to us. We're excited to hang out, chat, and listen to some music.
Yes, Eva does speak. It's not just like constantly hiding behind an accordion.
Mhm.
No, but this album, like, we got all the recording done in a single weekend where we literally just crammed into Eva and Francielle's house, and we had just Winners having. By the way, Winners is the person who mixed and mastered the whole thing, so everyone give proper credit there. Had all the recording equipment, and we just like literally had trails of cables going from room to room. Like the drums were like in a bedroom with the door closed. The accordion was in the kitchen. Like the lead vocals was on the top floor. Just everywhere. And that is what we did, and pretty much just recorded nonstop for 2 days straight. And then we were good, so we got to watch Kingdom of Heaven afterwards. So
That's true. That's true. We ended the night
Great.
with Kingdom of Heaven, which was great. Yeah, it was fun turning Aoife and Francielle's house into a recording studio. I feel like a wizard running all of that cable to
Yeah.
everybody and banishing all the band members to different parts of the house is always fun.
Yeah, just cables all over the house, just running to like the central heart in the dining room. It was wild. It felt like something out of the Matrix or something.
Yep. All roads led back to me and your cat, who was my co-producer for the entire thing. It was great.
Great co-producer. One of the
yeah,
best.
and then when we had it recorded, we threw Winners in the pit.
Yes.
Yeah. Bard
Where
City
I-
has just a hole in the ground that we toss winners into.
Mm-hmm. That's where I do
And
all
then
my
an album comes
post-production
out.
work.
So
Yeah, that's exactly how that happens. Thank you,
That's how
Sunburst,
albums
for the
work.
bits.
We
Speaking of-
are. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just
We are accepting questions on our Discord, which I'm sure that you are all in, but if you're not, join our Discord. And you can also ask them in the chat here, which will get checked more frequently. But yeah, look forward to hearing from you guys as we're listening. Do you guys want to start with a question? There's that one from Maddie that's really good.
let's go ahead and start with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Maddie, I'm sorry that I can't read, but I'm going to give it my best shot. I noticed that there are moments of, I don't know, sincerity on this album. See, I can't read. There are more moments of, I don't know, sincerity on this album than previous ones. There's still plenty of humor. I was just wondering what made the band want to explore more emotions in songwriting with this one.
Profit.
Literally, just, no, we're all lying. This is just
Money.
The money.
The
Rolling in it.
Such a sincere question, and
God,
we
you-
just got jokes.
Come
Don't
on, there was
it.
dead
Big
air.
cat.
Older
Maddie.
on the stream? You think we're
It's too
gonna
easy.
open up?
It's too easy. Actually, I mean, this is for Varric for sure. The being mostly in charge of the lyrics for the entire album, like you definitely touched on a softer side for I don't know, the tender parts of being a bard.
Yeah, so like obviously like the two big ones that are not quite so joke punchline are gonna be Party Paladin and Bardic Inspiration. And we can go more into that. But honest to God, it was because I was taking vocal lessons, and the guy who was teaching them, Craig Sparks, by the way, if you're in Maryland and you want to take vocal lessons, I highly recommend that man. But I added on music theory to go along with it, and his vocal lessons were very physical. As not like I've never actually met the person in person, like we're on Zoom, but it's very focused on like the biology of like, oh no, you gotta like focus on this, relax your shoulders. very straightforward, very by the book. And then when it came time to learning music theory, I was thinking we'd be like, oh yeah, chord charts and stuff like that. And he's like, no, music is the language of emotion, and we're gonna unpack some shit here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, and like that's just kind of what's like the turning point for me when it came to like writing songs about, you know, what would be a funny story, to being like, I actually want to be able to try to convey stuff. And a lot of the stuff that I end up writing now, it doesn't necessarily fit with the Bard City theme, so I don't necessarily need to write it into a full song, but I got like a book of shitty poetry that I write, and it's just good to have that sort of like outlet to kind of work your way through the world. And Bardic Inspiration is one of the ones that made it out of the book, and we sat and talked about it. We'll go more into that once we actually get to the track, but yeah, giving it a shot. Like, that's kind of why we did that. Shit, a chair.
On an equally serious note, definitely not Onion wants to know why Onion has the most riz in all of Bard City.
It's the Eldritch Horror.
Yeah.
I don't know how to answer that question from whoever anonymously asked that question. You know, it just kind of happens. It just kind of happens.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely the knees.
I mean, that's a great segue into the first song on the album, which is Why Does No One Want to Play With Me? Why Does No One Want to Play? Or working title for what the band calls it, Asshole Player.
That's so rude. Anyway, yeah, it's
You're
a great
welcome.
segue.
You're
Onion,
welcome.
bravo.
You're welcome for that setup.
Yeah, no.
You couldn't have done that without me.
It's perfect. That's true. That's true. Yeah, there's that riz. Anyway, we're gonna get into listening to the first song. I'm hoping that the audio works. We'll see. But yeah, here's the first song on the album. Why Does No One Want to Play? All right, that's the first song.
Yeah.
So we hope you enjoy it. We're gonna leave this screen up for a little bit to talk about the incredible album art.
Yes.
Good. Varric, will you take that away?
Good God, Sam. Cooked. It truly, so like, obviously it's that old medieval illumination marginalia stuff. And literally the whole thing is just absolutely packed with details. If you listen to the album, you will see that each like little section has a reference to songs in it. The only songs that didn't get a reference is Bardic Inspiration and Why Does No One Want to Play. So like but everything else is somehow marked in there. I think actually Why Does No One Want to Play can be represented by the entire thing because we're all jerks.
On a meta level.
Yeah. But genuinely, like Sam, I guess, yeah, Donut Holmesy on Instagram, follow them, made it, and like as pieces were coming in, I'm just zooming in and just like, oh God, no way. Oh God, look over there. It's just, it's packed. Every single square inch is just packed with crazy little details.
Yeah, we were all freaking out. It was so good.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to see it closer in detail, please hop on our Discord, where we have it posted or will have it posted soon. Yeah.
And you can see it in even closer detail in the tapestries we've ordered that we will be selling as merch now.
Yeah. Yeah. You want all of our faces hanging up on your wall, which I hope you do.
I do.
Grab a tapestry, please.
It's going right above my bed.
Nice. Weird, but nice.
Yeah, that is Onion's wife, by the way, on the so yes. He's actually the only one having a good time.
Yeah. I know it looks like we're all enjoying ourselves, but I am actually having a lovely evening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Just a regular evening with your wife.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like, oh, she's so shy.
So, do we want to talk a
so-
little bit more about the I don't know, the thought process behind that song and how deep and expressive and metaphorical those lyrics are?
Well, so I only have one thing I want to talk about with this is that so the band has a rule with like a general like no bummers, because like it's just not the vibe what we're trying to create. We played this for the first time at MagFest 2023, and I actually started after I wrote it. I felt bad for the guy who's the song is the perspective of, and I actually said to myself, if anyone came up to us after the show and basically just said, "Oh, you know what that song reminds me of? My old roommate Mark. He was such a dick when he played D&D." I don't want people to think about the worst D&D experiences they have when they listen to our music. And I specifically said, if that's the reaction that we got, I would veto and we'd never play it again. It was not. So we continue to play it, and it's now part of our repertoire. But I was genuinely sympathizing for the guy, and the only reason that I ended up being cool with it is because it's a first-person perspective. Why does no one want to play D&D with me? Versus if I'm just writing it about somebody else, that's just going to be a little bit too much bite, a little bit too.
Yeah. Why does no one want to play D&D with Mark?
Right, exactly. You know,
Yeah,
just generally
that hurts.
Throwing the names in there.
But since it's me, I can be the butt of the joke. Look, hi, it's me. I'm the problem.
I think one of my favorite moments actually is playing that song and watching a table full of people point at each other and going, "That's you, that's you."
Yeah.
So, like,
There have been.
you're all terrible, but at least you can laugh about it.
Right.
I don't know if any of our neighborhood friends are in the chat right now, but they have definitely called out our DM at 2 events now, and also me at an event that we sang about. So if we were still playing as a neighborhood, I'm sure there'd be repercussions, but we're on a hiatus. We love you, Kyle.
But yeah, no, that's I
Sorry, Kyle.
it's such a fun song to play. I'm so happy that like it didn't get received like, "Oh, I'm so happy you remind me of all these awful times that I played D&D." Because this is like so fast and upbeat. It's also like a minute and a half, so we can like shove it in wherever we want in the set list. Like,
yeah, it's not, you're not kicking somebody when they're down and just like beating and beating and beating. It's just here's the shenanigans,
right?
Cliche, and that's the song.
Yeah,
yeah,
like
it's fun watching people live use it as a vehicle to just like roast their friends too. That's always a good time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we want to get into the next song, which is "Thank the Gods."
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love this one.
All right, here we go. Turns out that song's infinitely loopable. Who knew? It just started over.
Fantastic.
I mean,
Never
it's each
stop.
I mean, in between each verse, it's a hard stop,
Right.
and then back. Da, 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 da. Never considered that.
Yeah, it's fun.
The gang vocals and the whooping and the yipping at the end of that song get me every time.
It was my favorite part of that song to record. We were all standing around a microphone, like arm over arm, rocking back and forth as we sang the gang vocals for that part, and it was so much fun. That song took a while, and I was getting tired of that song. The minute we started doing that, completely revived. It was wonderful.
Yeah, the guitar parts for that song are not. They're probably the hardest ones in the album. It's a lot of movement.
Yeah.
It's
Thankfully,
polka.
there's a ton of breaks, so we were able to record bit by bit, which if we had not been able to do that, I would have died.
I think that's also the hardest one for the accordion that we have so far.
It's a very accordion forward song.
Yes.
Which I really like.
All together, like put together, it just sounds so good. It's one of my favorite songs on the album.
I totally agree.
Do you guys want to hear something about the lyrics that you probably actually I've never told you?
Whoa, confession time.
I know,
Yes.
confession time.
Let it rip.
Professional.
So the owner of the tavern is non-binary because originally I had it as 2 guards coming in to arrest the rogue, and so I was using they already, and I made it a singular person, and I just kept it that way. So, representation of the person with the giant claymore, just
Yeah,
Love it. That's great.
absolutely.
It's slay them, you know.
Cool. Before we go to the next song, what is everybody in the band's favorite song on this album? It's a little taste of what's to come, or what's already happened.
Such a hard question to answer.
That's a hard question.
Really hard question, yeah.
I don't even have a one. I have 2. So my favorite song on the album for like feeling is Bardic Inspiration, because I will cry when I listen to that song. I sing the song and I cry. I play the song at home to practice and I cry, and then I hear it on the album and I cry. It's very emotional, and it's an absolutely wonderful song. And I'm probably a little bit biased, but my other not serious favorite song is Check for Traps. It was a lot of fun writing that, and I'll talk more about it, when we get to that one. But it's
Yeah, I think Bardic Inspiration and Party Paladin like make me cry every time. But I think my favorite one, other than that, is Barbarian, because it's so much fun to play.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
That's my favorite one to play.
I think my favorite is Vesuvius.
Yep. Yeah.
Vesuvius is so
You
good.
stole my answer. It's
I think
Vesuvius.
It's a good one. It's
You
so
stole it. You stole it.
It's so good.
It's incredible.
Vesuvius is my favorite mix on the album. It's the one that I hear all the things that Winners did, and I'm just like, oh my god, I love this song so much.
Yeah.
Bardic Inspiration's my favorite mix on that. I don't know what magic was happening when we were recording that, but good job, Winter.
Thank you. Well, good job, you guys.
Bawling. Really. That's what the magic was. We were all tearing up.
Yeah. Aoife, your favorite was Barbarian. That's the next one, right?
That is the next one.
Did we do Wizards?
Oh no, Wizard is next. Sorry. Yeah. I
It's
had
hard to
Barbarian highlighted, and you're like, "It's next." I'm like, "Yeah, it is." It's not.
High Blood's Fire 4 for the first chat, by the way, and Party Paladin is very fun. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much. And yeah, let us know what your favorite is on the album. We would love to know what the crew favorite is. All of them.
I'm seeing a Party Paladin. I'm seeing Bardic Inspiration. I mean, it's hard not to love those songs. They, sometimes I just want to cry.
Exactly. Well, this next song is definitely not about crying. This next song is about chill vibes, good vibes, and just hanging. So here is
casting spells.
Wizard of the Coast. Lovely.
Love that one.
Yeah.
Real quick, thank you, Kelly and or Mitch, for subscribing again. Also, welcome Barty Party to the chat.
What's up, Barty Party?
Barty Party in the house.
And Kelly and Mitch to the chat.
Hooray that Party City will outlive Party City.
I think it will. I think we're good.
It 100% will.
So, and then also, a lot of good things. Hi, Barty Party. Thanks, Kelly and Mitch, for the subs. And then we got a question about how we choose which song gets a video. I think the easiest answer for which song gets a video is which one's the easiest to film a video for?
Which one is the most doable?
Hey, Baron, didn't we put you on a boat in a hurricane for a video, though?
Oh,
I don't know if that's a technically easy video to shoot, but I was in the house. I wasn't down there.
Yeah, it was.
We did it in one day, so
we
did it in 15 minutes on the water.
We took a list of supplies we needed for that video. a boat, a hurricane, and Varric, and we had all of those things that weekend. So it was like, yeah, we're ready to go.
And the crippling sadness that the Red Fair got canceled that weekend. So
Yeah,
we had some
helped.
energy to work out that weekend.
But and then and Wizard of the Coast for the music video for that is just dress up as wizards, go to a house, drink heavily,
convince friends to come over and party with us.
Yeah, wizard beards and hats.
The video didn't start as the video. It started as we wanted to have a wizard party, and then we're like, hey, we should do a video about that. And then yeah.
But I think the song, when we were coming up with it, we were like, we should do a song called Wizard of the Coast. And like it was right when Wizard of the Coast was like doing all their nastiness with the OGL. And it was gonna be like, I don't know, more of a biting song. It's like, what if we just never acknowledge the game company ever?
And I think it was a good call. That song turned out to be such a great song, and the groan that the crowd makes every single time they hear Wizard of the Coast for the first time, it's just
I love how the song it lulls you into the vibe and the sway, and then it hits you with the punchline. It's so funny.
It's definitely one of those songs where a lot of the time it feels like we're bouncing off of an audience until that line, and then the buy-in just switches.
They all hate
immediately.
us.
Yeah. We hit him with that dad joke, and we hit him hard.
The people in the comments, it was Ophelia. That was the storm that canceled our weekend.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that was rough. I think one of my favorite things about Wizard of the Coast is Varric, as we were going through the writing process of this album, contacted all of us with a very serious message. He said, I have to talk to all of you right now. You have to be present. Like, everyone listen to what I have to say. Jimmy Buffett came to me in a dream last night.
Oh shit!
And he said, well, I'll let you tell the story because honestly, it feels good coming from you. I don't want to steal that thunder.
So there I was, and so Jimmy Buffett had died, and I'm like, my whole family were giant parrot heads. We love Jimmy Buffett, and he died. Luckily I got a chance to see him in 2022, and guess what? He was awesome live. He was spectacular. He was just barefoot, just chilling out, having a great time. It was spectacular. It was one of the best concerts I've ever been to. Yeah. And what was hilarious was that my parents was the one got all the tickets, because my parents are, again, huge Jimmy Buffett fans, but they got tickets a couple of rows in front of me, and so I got to see the back of their heads like the entire time. My parents are in their 60s. They were acting like teenagers. It was so funny to watch. I got the fans to the left, the fans to the right. So one night I literally just like woke up from this, like, I had this very vivid dream that I was in this sort of like outdoor concert area, and it's just Jimmy B with a guitar, and I'm looking around just like, wait a minute, this can't be happening, because Jimmy Buffett is dead. And after the show, I got up, I was able to walk up to the stage, and I looked at him and was like, hey man, how is any of this possible? He walked up and he gave me a hug, and I've never felt a hug in a dream before. So that was very odd. And he looked at me and he said, don't question a good thing, man. And then he went to go pick up his cables, and I basically, he just got ready, got his stuff together, walked up to the station, then I woke up, and I was inspired. I just was like, oh, that meant something. That meant something. I wore a Hawaiian print shirt to work. I didn't do anything that day, and I left early.
Hell yeah.
And because I was just like, I can't work today. I'm going to goof off. Like, yeah, I know, like Bardic Inspiration from the grave. And then we were going to like meet up for we were already planning on like doing some music or something like that. But like, that was like, no, everybody show up who could. And I got all the supplies for cheeseburgers in paradise, vegan and vegetarian.
Oh, that's
So I
right.
got-
You made us all wear Hawaiian shirts over to your house, and you
Mhm.
would
Yeah.
not explain why.
He just said Hawaiian shirts. Let's go.
Which we
Right.
did. Like we all
Yeah.
obliged, obviously.
Yeah, we full signed
Yeah,
it.
and then we get the, I like mine with lettuce and tomato, Heinz 57 and French fried potato, big kush pickle, a cold draft beer. Good God Almighty, which way do I steer?
Mhm.
It was a really good burger.
They were
It's
really
a
good
great
burgers.
burger. It's a
Mhm.
great low, yeah, just spectacular.
Turns out Jimmy
Oh.
Buffett knows what he's talking about when it comes to
Right.
cheeseburgers. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Who would have guessed?
Great time.
But even to this day, when we're talking about anything that might be suspect or like if something feels too good to be true, we always remind ourselves to not question a good thing.
Well,
most Mhm.
important part with that is I actually have behind me. I've got my everyday carry songbook.
Mm-hmm.
We've had a couple of letters fall off because it's in my pocket every day. But yeah, don't question it a good thing, man, or don't cast on a good thing, man.
Yeah,
Great.
But yeah, that comes with me literally every day, so that if I come up with an idea, I can write it down. And this is my second one of these.
Mhm.
Thank you, Uplift Bookstore on Etsy, for keep making these for me.
Incredible, good stuff. Yeah, no, I love that story. I love that it has become it's almost part of our ethos now. Along with
Question
no
a good thing, man.
bummers, don't
Yeah.
question a good thing.
The prophetic dreams of Varric.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I feel like we've been elevated as a band since that moment, and I will continue to say it was Jimmy Buffett's doing
Mhm.
That Jimmy
really
Buffett
brought us
came
up.
down from the great beyond and said, "Hey, Pat,
His
I hope you're having fun making music."
Mhm.
His spirit is with us, and
Yep.
I'm here for it.
With every groan at Wizard of the Coast at a live show,
Right.
we
For you,
honor
Jimmy.
Jimmy Buffett.
For you, Jimmy.
I'd like
Love
to
you, Jimmy.
I'd like to believe that Jimmy Buffett played D&D and would also groan at that joke.
No, Jimmy Buffett actually genuinely was like a dope dude. Anyway, we can move on.
What's the cat question, Aoife? There's much griping happening in the comments.
I believe it was something to the effect of how are we going to rectify my cat I'm already not being listed as a co-producer on the album on Spotify.
Well, we haven't pressed the CDs yet, and we have to design an interior cover, so we'll just say it hasn't happened yet because we were going to do that in the first time. Yeah, speaking of, my co-producer right there.
Yeah, that's her.
Little Drooly baby.
Like, let me go back to sleep.
Does not want to be here.
I'm Ready's the
Alright.
best. I would wake up with
Just
I'm Ready on
baby.
my chest during producing or during production weekend. She loves to purr and drool on you when she's happy.
And also
Precious.
yell at you.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
I'd come downstairs in the morning to get water, and she's like, cool, I'm going to trip you now.
She's also peed on Onion's guitar case, which she's never done before.
Yeah, guitar case and
take
in
that
one
as
of
you
my
will.
duffel bags.
Take that as you will.
She doesn't do that with anyone else, just for the
Nope.
record.
Right.
Let's save the Barbarian question until after Barbarian that
Hell
I put
yeah.
in the chat. But
Right
Great.
on. Well, speaking of, let's get into it. Here we
Yeah.
go. Here comes Barbarian. Yeah. God, I love that song. That was all Atticus. All Addy.
Yeah.
That is just 4 layered Addies.
Oh, it's so much fun to do.
Amazing.
One thing about this whole album is that after we recorded this album, I have switched how I sing to be a lot less growly, to take out as much vocal fry as possible, because it's impossible to do that for 3 days straight at a Ren Fair.
Mhm.
So like I'm like listening to my old singing and being like, oh god, I did a lot of
I
and
don't know,
Barbarian is just full of it.
for the high
Yeah.
energy songs in this album, I feel like it works perfectly though.
Oh yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
it
I don't
is- It
disagree.
is the vibe.
But also during this entire song I was holding a sword.
That's true. Oh, that's right. We gave you a
Yes.
claymore for this song.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what you hear, the vocals that you hear on that track, I am holding like a 5-foot sword.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like
There,
holding it.
if anybody wants to see some of Recording Weekend, there's a highlight on our Instagram stories.
Mm.
I think it's called album recording or something.
It was a
out
while
there.
ago.
It's in the story. I can link it.
Yeah, I remember Kitchen Sword.
That's the same sword.
That's the same sword, yeah. Mm-hmm.
good old. Yeah, that sword became Kitchen Sword.
Mm-hmm.
It's still on my knife rack.
Oh, I love it.
But yeah, I like that. That was all Addy. Just wanting to make a like sort of Celtic rock song about being. I like how it's called Barbarian instead of a barbarian bar. I imagine if you went up to a barbarian and said, "Excuse me, actually, the adjective should go before the noun," they would just knock your teeth out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
This kills the bard.
Grammar
Yeah.
infuriates barbarians.
Actually.
So we were
Okay,
we were writing the final chorus of this song and deciding like how to we just wanted to keep hitting the toss a dwarf, punch your
Drow.
mom, pants a drow. Like we kept throwing in. We made a list of a bunch of different 3-word like actions.
Oh yeah, we had like 20 of them.
Yeah, we had a
long list.
We had
There's a cutting room
bunch
floor
of these
for those.
things. Yeah. And we were like, cool. I was like, can I stab the mayor? And I ended up being the one to stab the fucking mayor. And Franciel, I love Franciel. He's like, all right.
Well, so that's one of my favorite parts of recording. That specific clip of Francio going, all right, wasn't scripted.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a part of the song. That we just let I let the mics keep recording, and we were talking about something. I forget what we were talking about. We were having like this faux massive argument, and I think Steve was on a fake soapbox, or Franciel, sorry, was on this fake soapbox, and like we just kept beating him down, and he finally relented with the all rights, and I'm like, wait a minute. What if I just clip that and put it in the song after Onion shouts that he's gonna stab him? And I don't know. I feel like it fits perfectly, and it's one of my favorite little Easter eggs of the album.
It's
that right there.
absolutely perfect in there.
Producer magic.
I also loved how few takes it took me. I think it was only 3 takes for Stab the fucking mayor, because I had so much anger towards the mayor.
Yeah, it was like you practiced saying that before. Weird.
I don't know where you would get that idea.
Oh, Snappy. Thank you very much
for 5 months of the
Hey, Snappy, thank you.
Oh, hell yeah.
And good to see you.
But yeah, no, that part is one of my favorite moments of the album, just because that all right was just the most genuine us being us moment, and being able to like grab it and stick it into the album. But there's a lot of like little bits like that I have that I might eventually cut into something of us just being really dumb during recording weekend.
I demand that you do that now. You've already offered. It needs to happen.
Yeah. No,
Shout out to Kelly and Mitch, by the way, because Mitch came up and played with us on the Tin Whistle at Magstock. So
yes.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun. That was so much fun.
So fun.
Go to Magstock, everybody.
Go to Magstock.
Go to Magstock.
It's fun time. It's a fun time.
Anything else to say about Barbarian? I mean, the gang vocals on that were a lot of fun.
Another fun one, yeah.
I mean,
that was fun to record.
Gang vocals are kind of like the overarching theme of this album in my producer brain.
Yeah.
They add the biggest punch to everything.
It also makes sense just being, drinking songs for the level 1. The gang vocals kind of get that feeling of just, an audience, a tavern full of people joining in and singing songs, and I just love how that feels.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Next one is Party Paladin.
Oh boy, get ready to cry.
Time to cry.
Yeah. So do we just want to listen to it and then talk about it afterwards?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's get into it. All right. Here's one of our more tender songs in the album, Party Paladin. God damn.
I love it.
Beautiful.
Ugh.
No, I forgot about the end. That we left Onion and I.
Yeah,
it's pretty. Yeah.
So I heard that for the first time. I didn't hear that when you had sent us like the mixes as you were finishing the album. And then like a couple days later, I was driving down to Southern Maryland, and I was like, cool. I have 45 minutes. I'm going to listen to the whole album start to finish. And I heard that bit, and it cracked me up so much.
Yeah, that was a late addition, actually. I think I threw that on one of the last mixes.
Really cute.
It's great.
Yeah, that also was, we released that as a single a little bit ago.
Yeah.
With the intention that the album would come back a little bit more close to it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But like shit happens.
Exactly.
But yeah,
that
the inspiration
song.
for that.
Yeah, that's got my favorite vocal lines of yours on it.
Well,
it's very good.
A lot of the lyrics. So this is a song my wife and I wrote together because my wife's favorite. My wife thinks that paladins are the sexiest class. It's the charisma casting and the lay on hands and the devotion. So like, you know,
yep, they're right.
It's pretty easy to make that claim. So we wrote that together, and we're like sitting there writing the lyrics and trying to figure out where does the story end. And we're like, oh, what if they don't get together? Like, what if it's just like, you know, the one that got away kind of thing. And so we finished it, and then we started playing that, and we were playing it at a Darkon campout. And the next morning, this one guy was watching me and saw me standing next to my wife pretty frequently, but without any like overt PDA or anything like that. So he's looking across and being like, oh my God, Varric's got a crush on that person.
Not wrong.
On you.
Not wrong.
And he approaches me in confidence, and he looks at me and he goes, is that your party paladin right there? And I'm like, that's not my party paladin, that's my wife. Like, decidedly not the one to get away.
Yeah.
I got that locked down. Bam, baby. Okay, camera, come back.
Yeah, do things.
You held up your hand, and the camera's like, don't hit me.
Thanks for the bits, Sunburst.
Ooh, yeah.
Yes,
thank you.
Absolutely. So one of the things I really like about that song is that's one of the songs that and Bardic Inspiration that we didn't just spend time like practicing and tightening up that song. We spent a lot of time working on the dynamic changes for that song because obviously the story that Varric and his lovely wife Sam had written like was amazing. Like it was so good, and we're like, we have to do this song right. And we spent a lot of time just going through like, all right, well, we want this part to sound like this and this to get quiet. We had the arpeggios thrown in there. Winners was like cool, and we do those first couple downstrokes on each chord, just stretch it out a little bit further so you can hear the individual strings. And it just turned out so well. I love playing that song.
It's a damn shame that it's 5 minutes long. So, like, if we were to try to...
it's so long.
If we try to play it at a Ren Fair, like, it'll take up, like, 20% of whatever the set. Yeah.
The funny thing is, I think that's only our third longest song because we have Monster Girls and
oh my
Patron.
God, Monster Girls.
And Monster Girls is the
Patron.
bridge. Monster Girls is the abridged version. Like, it's...
Yeah, that used to be way longer.
It
Yeah.
was like 7 minutes, 6.5 minutes. And,
Well, I wrote a verse for everybody.
yeah.
So if we did that to the full length, it'd be like 12 fucking minutes long.
Yeah.
Like a full verse, not.
Yeah, Monster Girls
Yeah.
extended cut. When eventually, I don't know.
When we become a jam band.
When we re-release
Whatever.
the Monster Manual special
Yeah.
edition, I don't know.
Jam Band edition.
Second edition.
Yeah.
Oh, that's clever.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah,
What if
Yeah, then we have an unreleased song called Patron that is close to 8 minutes long. I think.
Yeah, that's
It's a story.
play. It's a stage play. It's an actual play.
It's a whole rock
like,
opera.
mini play.
It's great. I love it, but it's
I
just
love it
bad.
so much.
It's so good.
It's
The
no
one
robot
time we
horses.
did it, it went off.
Yeah. Oh, everybody adored it. It's just so long.
Right, it's been
Yeah.
forever.
Sometimes we could swing playing a song at double time, which we don't do that often, but we can't do that with any of the songs mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, unfortunately not.
Oh, imagine double timing Party Paladin.
Let's go.
Yeah, honestly, it would probably slap. I think it'd be pretty good.
Just try it, you know. What's the worst that can happen?
But I do really love that song, and Onion hit the nail on the head with, like, we spent a lot of time focusing on the dynamics and making sure that, like, we had our loud parts, we had our big parts, and then everybody pulls back and just gives all of this air and space to Pat to just pine after this Paladin. Like that Varric's vocal line with your God took you so far, called you so far away, I never got to say, and it just hangs there. It is one of my favorite vocal lines that you do, because everything drops out. It's just you, and you nailed that part. So
yeah.
It just makes me so sad that it's hard to fit in a half-hour set because I love that song so much.
Sonny, I have no idea when we'll be able to do the full cut of friggin' Monster Girls.
Oh my god!
No, honestly, the version of the song that we have now, I like, is really good.
It's really good, and it's still really long.
Yeah, it's still quite long.
Unfortunately, I loved my favorite verse for that was Aoife's.
Yeah,
I love my verse so much
because it just ends with like, what was it? I went on a blind date with a really cute Cyclops, but we kept on getting interrupted by Jason's fucking Argonauts.
I forget what else was on there. I can't remember what. Like, there was a part about thinking a dude was a dragon and he was just like a normal guy. That was
He was just a guy.
Just Jeff.
Oh, there was so much.
Oh god, didn't you go to you went to like with the God of Chaos, but all he did was talk about himself? Like, it was just a bunch of bad dates for Aoife. I'm sorry.
I like
Aoife's dates were the worst out of like.
I don't have much luck in Bard City.
But then, the Selkie one is the one we stuck with, because that is filthy.
It is the horniest line in any one of our songs, and I love it so much.
Mom has heard it.
So yeah.
With us.
Yeah.
Incredible. All right. Well, next up is Letter Home.
Oh boy.
Fun story too.
So our friends, the Bards, helped us out here. Namely, their
John,
fiddle
the violin
and
player,
lead guy, John, played a wonderful fiddle line to Emily's recitation of Goblin Letter, Kobold Letter, Goblin Letter,
Yeah,
Kobold Letter.
Mm-hmm.
One of them.
One of those. But yeah, all right, let's give it a listen. Ken Burns vibes, yeah, 100%.
100% what we were going for.
Squish, come
Thank
home!
you. We nailed it. I think the most demonstration of talent on the album happens right there, where Aoife is listing all of the names of the other Kobold family members, because it was not an easy list to get to, and you one take that. Like single
Yeah.
take, nailed it. It was so
So
good.
what we did with that was we had all of us
Except for me.
Yeah.
Because there was enough of me. There was enough of me on the mic.
That's
we had all of us line up and go through a take of it, and it's hilarious to hear us all. But there's a take of everybody doing that somewhere.
Yes.
We picked the one that we
I
liked
have
the
it.
most, which was Emily. Emily.
Yes.
We should definitely put together like a cut and paste of like a couple parts from each person into the entire letter,
Yeah.
just switching back and forth.
I think maybe we do it on an Instagram story just as a little Easter egg for everybody.
Just a little, yeah.
I could
I'd be down for
I
that.
could make something like that happen. All right, keep your ears to the ground. Maybe everyone will get a little bit of yours truly squish action, because we did all do it and it was fun. Like we each got, well, it was very democratic the way we did it. We all got up, we all did our parts, and then we all just decided unanimously that it had to be Aoife's parts because I mean, come on,
Yeah.
it was
It
Aoife's
amazing.
got that like Appalachia, so
Right? Yeah.
Big fan of Cold Mountain.
Yeah. The rest of us are just a little too Baltimore, a little too Philly.
Yeah.
Baltimore.
How many
Both
But yeah,
Yes,
like
Baltimore.
I desperately wanted this to be I don't know, like I think I played the Ashokan Farewell. I might be butchering that pronunciation.
Sounds
To you
familiar.
guys at a house party, and I was like, guys, hear me out. And I started playing that violin piece and just recited a sort of draft.
It was your baby shower.
It was my baby shower.
That's right. You interrupted your own baby shower to tell us about this. And we're all you were really serious about it. We're like, holy shit, this has got to be huge because you just left all your family out there to tell us this huge news, and you're like, I want to do a kobold like Civil War letter, and we're like, what?
Just drop that shit in the middle of the album and then never mention it again.
Yep. I mean, this is probably the most we're ever going to talk about it. So
Right. Yeah.
I love that. I love that track.
Yeah. We're not. It's not gonna go. It's not gonna be in a song. We're never gonna talk about Squish.
We'll never do it live.
Right.
Like
How?
Oh yeah.
right? How?
Oh.
How and why? But yeah.
Yeah. Squish lived in a hole somewhere far away from us. Like,
He's out in the trenches.
Busy.
right.
Ooh, we have Check for Traps next.
Yes.
Ooh,
I love that
nice.
song.
Up next is Check for Traps. We'll get right into it and we'll talk about it after. Here we go. Yeah.
The browbeaten DM
Mm-hmm.
is so
Yeah.
funny.
Beleaguered.
I forget whose idea it was to make Winners just the DM for this song, but it's such. I love that bit. And
Yeah.
you do the just disappointment so well.
Yeah, I like to think that I can summon that just beleaguered DM because sometimes I'm legitimately a beleaguered DM. So
So I guess I'll talk about this one.
Yeah.
So we have a document on our shared drive that has a bunch of different song ideas. It's just like a line or two for like, this is what we want to base a song on. And from time to time, I'll go in there and I'll see if anything sparks something. And I went through and I check for traps was the idea. And I heard the chorus in my head immediately. I was like, cool, I'm doing something with this because it's catchy. And I put together the story. I decided to write it from the point of view of the DM, who is just mad at their players because they won't stop. Every single room they walk into, I check for traps. I put together a good portion of it. I went through to Varric and I was like, Varric, I want some help finishing this. And we were able to put through the rest of it. We, went to the rest of the band also and got the final touch-ups done. My favorite line in that song is the line that we don't have in the live version because fewer people get it, but Varric decided he wanted to go ahead and talk about Grimtooth.
Yeah, so yeah, I like to have in my lyrics jokes that like 4 people will get. I sometimes it'll be just a joke that I get that I never explain to anybody, and that's it. And yeah, Grimtooth is like a classic from like the 80s, I think. It's just literally a book of brutal traps. Back when D&D characters were not expected to survive. It also wasn't just D&D, it was kind of like any dungeon crawl, TTRPG, or whatever.
Yeah, it was like Tomb of Annihilation times, right?
Yeah.
Like,
So like some of the traps are like an out of focus spyglass. So you pick up an out of focus spyglass, and if you look through it, it's out of focus. If you turn it, it releases a knife that goes like, or a cask of golden mead, which is golden mead, and you drink it, it turns to molten gold in your stomach, and you die immediately. There is no save.
We were trying to figure out which one would fit in the song, and we went for a little bit more of a generic one, but it was also brutal. You stepped into a pit filled with stakes, and landing in the pit triggered more like triggered the darts to shoot at you, and it just I knew at the end of the song I wanted it to backfire on the players. So that's where they get paranoid at the end. They are about to feast and they can't because they're freaking out. They're like, all of this is poisoned and I don't know how to prove it. And my second favorite part in that song is yelling at Varric because he says tavern wench and we all together scream, lady!
Lady!
And I do not remember whose idea that was, but I adore that part of the song.
Lost to the ages.
But
who's to say? Who's to say?
We slow down, they get paranoid, and then finally it picks back up, check for traps, and it just goes straight out of that. And I'm very happy with the way that one turned out.
I do love the ending, the little cautionary tale. Like, there's a moral to this story. It's very King Midas-y.
Yeah, I knew I didn't want it to only be them pissing off the DM because
you got to get your comeuppance. That's kind of
makes for a good story,
right?
Listen to that. If you come and hear us live with that one, it's probably going to be a little bit different.
Yeah. We do shorten it a little bit because it goes on for a while.
The radio edit,
And we want to get to the fun part of that song when we play it live, which is everyone singing along. To I Check for Traps.
Hearing how quickly, the chorus is repeatable and it's the same through all of the choruses, and people pick it up really quick. And I love hearing people sing with us. It's great.
Thank you for the bits, Lumos.
Yeah, thank you.
IFA stands? Yeah, I mean, we all know. We know that IFA's baby. We know. That's good. This is good. It's a good thing. All right. Who's ready to cry? You guys want to cry?
Yeah.
Crying.
I always just want to cry.
I'm a couple drinks in. It's time to cry.
All right. Well, everybody, get your tissues ready because it is time for Bardic Inspiration. Yeah.
God, I love that song so much.
Oh, I love that one.
The beauty.
It's so good. It's so good. Yeah, it's the most real song that we have. It's our only. It's the only real song that we have.
Party Paladin it seems like it's a sincere song, but it's really about a muscle mommy. So like,
and it's that one's still pretty silly.
Sincerely about a muscle mommy.
Right. I really want to get people, try to convince people to dress up as characters from the song so that we can get a 6'5" lady in full plate mail to show up to one of our parties. Haha, just kidding. Haha,
unless.
Haha, JK.
Don't do that. We would hate that.
We honestly probably be too distracted to play the song.
Yeah, most likely. Yeah.
That's a good point. That's a great point.
Like, yeah, we did it.
But
manifested.
Yeah, no, that is that's one of, I don't know. I love that song. I love playing that song. I love getting feedback from people, genuine feedback from people about that song. We hear a lot from people live after we play that song that like it spoke to them, and that's a weird thing for us to say as we stand there in our clowny bard garb.
In my elf ears.
Right. But also, yeah, we love it.
That's what the song was meant for. It was like,
exactly.
We were doing an emotional song. Winners and I worked a lot on the dynamics for that one, like we did for Party Paladin, and we just kept like, okay, we want just so many like little tweaks, like, oh, well, right here, what we want is this. We want the drums to come in here, and it's interesting going back and forth between writing these goofy songs that are just like, wouldn't it be funny if, and wouldn't it sound powerful if?
Right. Yeah. Our writing process is very, I don't know, schizophrenic.
Yeah, it's just all over the place.
Because we're trying to like evoke emotion and add dynamic and change and make people feel things, and then this song's about a goblin that we like.
It's
like, there's a song that we don't play live, but I'm glad that we worked on it first. Febe. And I think that song allowed us to write the music for this one.
Agreed.
And I'm so glad that happened in that order it did.
One of these days we'll release Febe and we'll actually play it live. It's a rhythmically difficult song. We need a click track for that one.
Yeah. Yeah, we also need louder instruments for that one. Because there's so many different parts that we all play that like it just gets like the instruments are too quiet.
One of these days, Bard City will go electric and we will play that. We will play that song.
Bardic Inspiration is actually one of the like hardest songs for me to play live. Because usually we're playing at the end of the set. It's in that lower register, which is like hard for me. Usually
you got the big voice on during that song too.
Like, it's a wide ranging song. And usually like it's the second or third to last song in the entire set, so it's just like at that point we can't do it in a half an hour set. Like you kind of need to have that build up, that buy-in. Because imagine if we did like a 20-minute run fair set and we take 5 minutes up with this stuff. No, it just doesn't mesh.
Yeah. 5 minutes with this, 5 minutes with Party Paladin, everyone's in their feels, and then we're like, here's a song about a butthole.
Right. Ultimate set, Monster Girls, Party Paladin, Bardic Inspiration, and Patron.
Robot horses.
Patron. And then robot horses for 2 hours.
Yeah, right.
So, that song has some of my favorite vocal lines of you, Varric. Just the things that you were able to do with your voice came out in that song, and it's so great.
Yeah, that last chorus gets me every time when the crescendo just builds and builds.
Yeah.
Oh man. I remember. I think one of the first times we played it was at a Gen Con. And I remember, I'll never forget someone in the front row who the song was clearly affecting strongly. And this was one of the first times we played it in front of an audience. And I'm like, oh my God, it's working. Like it's working. It's working. It's happening. Oh man. I'll probably never forget that.
Some of the stuff with this, like, one of the things I kind of wanted to like put in there was the fact that it's only a D6. Like, we're not that high level. And I keep telling people like this, as far as like, if you don't have fun like doing it, then it's not worth doing. Like, if you have to wait until reaction, then it doesn't matter. Like, if you're gonna do some music, just write the damn music. Like, don't be like, well, I have to form a band or I have to play a show. Or it's like, just write it at home. Like, fuck it. Like, who cares? Like, I spent like 3 hours making a goddamn Neon Genesis Franciel for a total of like 12 people to see.
It's really good. It's
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah. And you can find it on our Discord. Which
Yeah.
if you're not on, you should join.
You really should be. You want to see this.
It's
Like,
so
totally.
good.
But like the whole point of it is, it's like if you don't like enjoy the creative process of it, then it's just like, why bother? Go do something else. Like, life is short. Go. And so like
I'm sorry. Snappy is raking you over the coals right now, and it's
right.
It's so funny. Stop being funnier
Listen,
than us.
Nope. Nobody asked me to do this. Correct. Who the fuck would?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Who would?
Well, that's Varric though. This isn't like a new thing that Varric does. It's just no one, literally no one. Varric, hey, I put Franciel in an anime.
No, I excel at going way too hard into jokes that only 10 people are gonna see.
Yeah, to be 100% clear, I fucking love that about Varric. Like that, just he decides, hey, wouldn't it be funny if? And he throws a bunch of effort into this goofy little thing, and it's always fire. He always sends it to us. He's like, "Hey guys, look at this thing I did," and it's always hilarious.
The reason is because I'm having fun making it. I don't
Yeah.
care if only 5 people are gonna see it, because that's not the point.
The joy is in the process.
Yeah, and to bring it back to like what we're talking about with this song, is like that's
there you
the
go.
point is the process. Like that's why like I'm like getting all like I like deactivated my Facebook and everything like that with all the AI shit going on. And it's like you can tell the difference between people who like something as like a product or a process. If you just kind of see like art or creative pursuits or music or anything like that as a means to an end, then it's like, I don't know, what are you doing? Like it's part of the method. Like, Snappy, aren't you a blacksmith? Like you get like the whole, like you don't like it because you like the metal parts at the end. Like you like it because you get to hammer stuff the whole process the entire time. And like that's what it's all about at the end of the day, is creating, and like that's all like what D&D is about. It's like it's collaborative storytelling. It's the nature of like doing something that we've been doing since literally the dawn of civilization, which is telling stories. And I personally think the best fantasy story of all time has been told at a table of 5 people, and it was never recorded. Just by law of large numbers, like, you know, hundreds of thousands of D&D campaigns, and one of them just is going to be the best story there ever was. And yeah, they didn't record it. We're never going to see it, but it doesn't matter.
No, but they get to keep it for themselves. Like they have that moment. Yeah, and they had the joy
for fun or profit.
Doing it. And to that point, tying that song into like D&D and kind of what we do, I feel like we get a big reaction from people, like an emotional reaction from people out of that song because of the dynamics of Bard City. We are goofy, we're silly, we make silly songs, and then you get hit out of nowhere with something genuine. Bardic Inspiration is our most sincere song, and you just get hit with this big wave of sincerity and juxtaposed to all the goofiness that we bring. I feel like it hits even harder. And like D&D, like, you know, you get a bunch of goofy goobers going around shaking down shopkeeps, and then like, you know, your DM delivers incredible monologues and you end up fighting big BBGs and saving the world and affecting people's lives. Like, yeah, dynamics. It's music.
Yeah, especially in D&D campaign, like you were saying, like the goofs are amazing, and I would never trade anything for them. But the serious moments, like the character deaths, the serious ones, so impactful. And when you have something juxtaposed so abruptly like that, it just hits so much harder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That also, yeah, it's the juxtaposition. It's also the inverse law of D&D, which is the more serious the setting, the more goofy the players, and
100%.
vice versa.
But it's also great when we just catch you off guard. Like, we've lulled you into this false sense of ha ha ha, jokes, 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 and then it's like cry.
Exactly. Yeah, nothing brings out a goofy character like a grim dark setting. Like, here's this dark Arthurian setting. I'm gonna make a bubble artificer.
Yeah,
Like,
I legit built like a Dark Souls homebrew campaign, and I sent it off to my friends, and I'm like, all right, guys, roll characters, and every single one of them independently decided, like, well, I'm just gonna be a ray of sunshine in all of this. Which I would love to run that campaign with you guys one day, but maybe who knows?
It's like,
I
hey,
totally agree.
We're playing a horror campaign, and then Onion brings out the fart gun.
Right. The only time I genuinely, I've already kickstarted this. They have the Adventure Time 5e supplement. That's the only way I'll be able to get a serious campaign, because the only way people will take it seriously is you're made out of bubblegum.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's where like the real Batman characters come out.
Schnappy, your question that Varric kind of answered with, do you ever worry that there will eventually be no more songs to write? And to put a caveat on this, none of us are doing this as our full-time job. So this is not advice for people that are trying to do this professionally, I guess, but it's not that there will never be songs to write again, but I think that there are seasons. Onion referenced the list of ideas that we have, which I go to that when things are just not happening in the brain. But like, as long as you're living, you're experiencing something, and whether or not it relates to D&D, I think you just go through seasons.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, take notes. Like,
Yeah.
if you've got, I've got this idea and I can't hash it out, write it down, come back to it later. Varric's book, a Google Doc or something, like, hey, I can come back to this later. That's what happened with Check for Traps.
Yep.
I'm working on another song that, again, came off of that list because I didn't have anything for it before, and I do now.
When it comes to songwriting, I think time is a super important ingredient. Letting it sit, letting it simmer, like eventually it'll pop up in your head. You'll be like, I know exactly what to do with it, and you take it off.
Yeah. Funk Around and Find Out was it's not on this album, but Funk Around and Find Out was a idea I had like the week that we started this band, and it didn't get to the point where we could even consider writing it until 2 years later. There's a time for it.
Yeah. There's a song that I'm recently obsessed with. It's called Eating My Computer, and it's literally about a guy who has recorded a video where he eats a computer, and he's making you watch him eat all the glass and bleeding out and stuff like that. And it's a super bubbly song. And I'm just thinking, how the fuck did they even think to write this? So if we can have songs like that, we can have anything. So just to put a bow in all of that.
Right.
It's a great song. Go listen to it. I am eating my computer. Yum, yum, yum.
Okay. All right.
Also, just one last thing on the creative process is that there's nothing new under the sun. You're gonna write something that sounds like something somebody else has done. You're gonna write something that might be derivative. You're gonna write something that might be inspired. Just do it. Just do it, and like,
do it.
Go for it. I mean, half of our songs are 4-chord songs that and those 4 chords could be applied to thousands of other songs. But you don't think about that. You think about the fact that we're talking about a silly goblin.
So that's actually a great segue into the next song, because I will tell you the chord progression I accidentally stole this from.
All right. So let's get into it. The next song is one of my favorite songs that I produced on this album. I'd feel the most proud, I think, of this song. And it is Drinking Song for the Level 1s. It's such a fun song.
Absolutely. Yeah, the stuff that you did with that one, it's just you threw a lot of magic on there, just like each instrument slowly fades in one by one, and it's so good.
It being the more or less the title track for the album, I wanted to do something really special with it. And when we recorded it, we didn't have guitar parts written for it because it was still very much a brand new song. So when we recorded, we just did accordion and drum when we recorded it. And it was just going to be vocals, accordion, and drum. And listening to it while I was doing the production of the album, like, what if we just slowly walk everything in and make it feel like you are at a tavern and a bard just starts singing, and then slowly the entire bar gets in on it. And yeah, I feel like we nailed that. It feels like it. So I cut the guitar part to it after the fact, well after the recording weekend, and I don't know. I think it fits together really well. And yeah, Maddie, you raise a great point. That you spend a lot of time building up a character, and then sometimes they don't last.
Yeah. Also, every single little, like, thug or bandit that you fight in the first few sessions, they all had aspirations as well. It's like to be,
yeah, 100%.
sick heroes. Well.
This is why I never like fully hash out a character. I just kind of let new things happen with them as I'm playing.
There's something to be said for that, though. Like letting the experience build your character for you, and like reacting to the world. I was listening to a podcast. I think it was Dungeons and Daddies, and the DM of that campaign said the first three levels of Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition is survival horror, which is true. Everything can kill you at that point. You just got to survive until you get to your subclass, and then you're a god.
I've actually never had a character die, so I'm looking forward to
that's a dangerous
what that feels like. I've seen it happen plenty.
I killed you in our one shot. I killed everybody except
for
me and Winners survived.
I walked out of that with 1 hit point. Thank you.
Yeah, I barely got touched in that fight. Actually, I got hit like once, and then I just kept dodging.
Because you yourself are an Eldritch Horror.
Yeah,
that's true.
Like I was trying to do nasty things to that Eldritch Horror.
I mean, to both of our credit, we didn't crawl into the mouth of the forest god beast. So
yeah,
I feel like it's on you guys.
There's something to be said about not doing the dumb thing sometimes.
That wasn't supposed to be something that anyone did.
Varric, I think, was the first one, and he was like, "But guys, what if I jumped in?"
As DM, you just can't plan for your players jumping into the big bad evil guy's mouth. As much as you plan.
Trying to tickle.
Listen, I was trying to do like I was trying to do the Mary approach of the closer you are, the danger, the farther you are from harm. That was not true.
No,
it wasn't.
Way
you were
more
very
danger.
close to danger. You were inside the danger.
More.
Right, way more danger, way more harm. I have not had a 5e character die, but I did have 2 3.5 characters die.
Yeah.
But I also played with like a DM that was like. They were like a little bit more like lenient, and they basically be like, "I won't kill your character unless you want your character to die." And I was like, "No, that's a fitting end for him." So,
yeah.
I think as a DM, it's especially when you're trying to convince people to play D&D or any other TTRPG. I feel like there has to be some serious thought that goes into whether or not you're actually going to kill somebody's character. It's like, is this going to kill the fun that this person has for the game?
Right.
From here on out, like, are they coming back to the next session if you kill this character? And honestly, that's saved a lot of my players' characters. I mean, if you've played for a few years, then it's all fair game as long as we've talked about it. But like, a lot of the times I don't kill them to preserve the fun.
Yeah,
that's fair. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not at all against like my character dying. Like, I'll fight like hell to keep it from happening. But if it happens, that's good storytelling.
Yeah. And that goes into like that conversation you have with your DM before you start a campaign. Like, here's how it's gonna be. Like, I play with DMs that lay it out real plain right off the start. Do something dumb, pay the consequences. If you want to commit to doing something stupid, and usually they always ask, "Are you sure about that?" If you are sure about that, then you're in fuck around and find out territory, and sometimes you just got to eat those consequences.
Well, you know, speaking of fuck around and find out.
Yes, we are. We come to the close of our album with I think it's the most bagger track on the entire album. I can say that with absolute certainty. This song is about a firefighting ancient red dragon named Vesuvius. Hell yeah.
Oh, I love that one. That one, I think, is my favorite one of the album. It's just so much fun.
Right.
So it's so good. That's the one with my favorite vocal stuff. Is Varric in that final chorus. When Varric first showed me this song, I was like, "Hey, let's put in a key change," because we had not done that in a song yet. And he was like, "We just have to figure out how to do it." And the high vis jacket line, just everybody gets in XXXXXXXXL. It's so powerful.
Yeah, I was a volunteer EMT for a couple of years in college. It ended up not being the line of work for me. So I'm not that anymore. But I did, ride out of a firehouse. So there's some semblance of, I guess like personal experience. I was not a firefighter. I fucking hate fire, guys. I am terrified of it. And people are like, you should try to do fire one, man. And I'm like, no, God, no, that building's on fire. But one of the lines in there is, he does it by the tome. He never cuts a corner, so everyone goes home. Everyone Goes Home is like the official organization for firefighter training safety. The idea is, don't die a hero, go home. Like, so trying to like sprinkle in like jokes that I guess only firefighters would get. Really, the Venn diagram of like D&D players and firefighters, I imagine, does not have a whole lot of overlap.
No, but for the people that it does overlap with, they really like it.
Yeah. As I was saying earlier, like making jokes that 5 people will get. But so yeah, I like that song. I like that song quite a bit. I also just like taking the time to write out the character of Vesuvius.
Oh yeah.
Just like sort of sitting there being like, what would Vesuvius do in a situation like this? And we actually we'll come back to it, have a campaign played in Bard City, and there is a rule that if you're within the city limits and you cast any fire spell behind the DM screen, I roll a d10. That is how many minutes it takes for Vesuvius to show up. And so these guys were at a non-binary strip club called the Agender Bender, and they were fighting a wereboar.
Yeah.
And Aoife did that was not even a spell. It was like what, a racial ability?
Yeah, I was playing Summer Eladrin, so I did their little jumpy thing, and it does 3 fire damage.
3 fire damage. And that is all it takes. I was like, 3 fire damage. Okay. Rolled behind. Okay, who's next? And then so they win the fight, and the bartender, the owner of the tavern, is like, get the fuck out right now. And they're like, what do we do? Like, we won. Like, we saved the day. And then I was like, all right, you're thrown out on the streets. And suddenly you hear a whoosh. And everyone at the table was like,
shit.
We couldn't figure out what we did. And then that happened. And we're like, oh, wait.
Yep.
And
The
completely
consequences of our actions again.
in the 2 sessions, or no, this was the first session,
This
wasn't
was
it?
the very first session.
The end of the first
session.
session. In this first session, we had forgotten that Vesuvius existed.
Yeah, we're not smart.
We were playing that at Gen Con, right? In the hotel room?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was at Gen Con. It was
Yeah.
our session 0.
After driving 10 hours
Tiger.
to Indianapolis. I'm sorry, I forgot about Vesuvius.
Oh, look at Tiger. Tiger wants to say something.
Mm-hmm. If he wants to say something, he will. He's never afraid to talk. Not right,
But yeah, and I just loved, because that's where we ended the session. It was a great little cliffhanger, and like we're sitting there in the hotel room at Gen Con, and like everyone's sort of like strategizing, and this is when we're talking about earlier, like player deaths and stuff, and I'm like, listen, I'm giving you free reign. You have an ancient red dragon staring you down, and y'all are level 5. So, and they're like, well, what if we do this? And I'm like, well, he's a dragon, so he'll see that, and you're going to die. They're like, well, we could try doing this. I'm like, that would be fine. You can try that. That would get you killed, just to make you.
What if we seduce him?
And but
No, it didn't work.
and then literally, Onion is literally just playing an isekai Link, like from Hyrule. So I literally opened up the next session by Vesuvius immediately crushing him, no save.
Yeah, I like put up a finger like and then crushed. I was like, I didn't even get to say anything.
But it breaks the bottle in his pocket. What happened to have a fairy and brought him back.
It was a good bit. It was a good bit.
But Vesuvius is lawful. He's very lawful. His law is fire code.
Yeah.
And he's evil. So if you break it, you're going to die.
Yeah.
But I always I really want to do like a little zine of Vesuvius at like the fire station, like wearing sunglasses or like wearing glasses, like reading through the books and like doing the mandatory training with everybody. And like looking at somebody and being like, those are not steel toe appropriate. Like those are not the proper gauge for the steel toes you must be wearing at all times. Not only are you putting yourself in danger, you are putting your partners in danger as well.
Yeah, the chin strap on your helmet's not done, so
right.
You get a full blown talking to, but from an ancient red dragon,
right? Explaining why it needs to be a little bit tighter.
And to answer Sunny's question, we ended up not trying to seduce Vesuvius. We just talked about it a lot.
No, they ended up. They had to do community service, which was volunteer at the firehouse overnight.
But yeah. Varric, Schnappy had a question. They said, you mentioned that one of these songs that I kept pushing you to get the best vocal take.
That was Bardic Inspiration for sure.
That was Bardic Inspiration.
Easy. Yeah. I was about to take a break, and you were like, "No, get the fuck back on there."
I went full Captain Blood producer. There is a way to pull a sound out of a human body, and sometimes you need to sometimes anguish is needed for that, or fatigue, and there's certain like getting the voice to crack in a way that is like emotive.
Right.
Yeah, I made you do quite a few takes, but it worked. It totally worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the that was the best one as far as the pushing.
Yeah.
But there is like a strategy you could do where it's like what songs are a little bit more difficult or more demanding, and you don't do them first and you don't do them last.
Right.
In the middle is 100%. Because you need
And
to warm up a bit, but you also can't burn your voice out.
Right, because it's a bio instrument and you have to treat it with gently and all that stuff. So, and also guitar players have like fingers that they need to have not bleeding and all that good stuff.
True.
So
we do all right with that. we get to the point where we can't feel our fingers anymore. But
it's usually our second or third take that is our best take because we warmed up.
Yeah, like I could say definitively, like I have data to back that up. It's always the second or third take that is the money zone.
Only like one or two songs that we've ever done first take, and it was just like that was just perfect.
Greta.
Yeah, Greta.
Greta was one of them. the first
Greta,
time
we had 10 minutes. Like,
yeah, we had so little time. We're like, everybody's gonna get this perfect.
I think
And we finished that song the night before too.
right. We recorded Greta in 20 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
well, it was
we-
basically if we didn't get the recording done, because
It
like
wasn't
Onion had
going
a
on the album.
it was just like, if we don't get it done, that's fine. We'll give it a shot, and we got it. So like,
Yeah.
And thank goodness that worked. Thank the gods that happened, because it ended up being the best song on that album.
yeah. So like,
Yeah.
if you guys listen to the end of Greta, where it's just like, and you're like, ba ba ba, where I'm just blah 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 at the end, that's because I thought we already got the vocal take for the complaining at the end. So I was just like, filler, whatever. But we are so close that the mics picked each other up.
Yep.
So if we didn't use that exact take, you would just hear me screaming at everyone else's mic.
Right. But also it ended up being funny and working great.
Yeah.
Like it just added to the exasperation of that moment.
The DM's done. He's got nothing else to say to get us to shut up. Stop talking about Greta.
So a fun thing about Vesuvius, the Vesuvius speech in the finished song, was the ad-lib speech that Varric did for the scratch tracks that I just kept, because it ended up being funnier than anything else we ended up doing. Just like the slight stutter in
always
speech,
be careful.
Always be careful. Like it just ended up being it was genuine and real and hilarious. So
there's something to be said about that. Sometimes you're just like, I'm doing this thing. I don't know what else to do, and like you said, it becomes real, and it just sounds great.
Yeah, it was great. So that's it. That's the
also,
album.
Yeah, that's it.
One of the things I did really want to mention about this song was the strumming pattern that Winters came up with for this one. It's so much different than our other songs. And again, it was like we decided that this song needed something more than just the chords. Like it's the same chord progression that like Pat and I sort of like figured out together. But Winters was like, we played it the first time, and Winters was like, no, we're not playing it that way. I was like, that's fine. Just these are the chords. This is what goes behind the lyrics. And he was like, don't worry, I'm going to put something together. And he comes up with that chord progression. And it's so great. It's powerful. I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah. This one, I got a bug, and I just had to do something different with the strumming pattern. I had to do something, I guess aggressive with the strumming pattern. I feel like that's definitely the way it comes across. It's high energy. I feel like it's driving, and it's a song about a fucking ancient red dragon. Like, let's make it driving.
I think Vesuvius will eventually fall into a portal into the plane of fire and just spend eternity trying to put it out. And I worry that he will succeed.
He will succeed, and then and that's like the heat death of the universe, right? Like
you just see him pop out back like and through another portal, and you see it's just dark behind it. He's just like, I'm done. It's like, oh.
Finally, I could rest.
Vesuvius is sorry. Go ahead, Eva.
No, I was gonna get us into wrap up. So say what you're gonna say, and then I'll say what I'm gonna say.
The last thing I'll say about Vesuvius is that is probably one of my favorites for like the progression we made on that song, from like the first time that we heard any portion of that song to the changes that we made, adding in, Winters came up with the strumming pattern, adding in the Vesuvius speech, the key change, the full open chords at the end. It's that song, I think, on the album had the most progression from start to finish, because a lot of these other songs, they weren't like done on the first time, but they were like, we had a lot more of them before we started like really working on them. So it was really nice to see this song go from the start to the finish and everything we added to it to make it just sound the way that it did. Absolutely.
And yeah, the whole thing was inspired because I saw one picture of a buddy of mine who was in the kinetic sculpture race who had a dragon with a firefighter outfit on, and I was like, all right, we can work with that.
Yeah.
And we're still working with them. They're still making a Vesuvius kinetic sculpture.
Right, yeah.
I hopefully next year they do it again.
So-
we sent them a pre-cut of the song before
They're
it was
blasting it
totally
during the
finished.
race. Yeah.
Yeah, they played it from this like kinetic Vesuvius sculpture. We love it.
So next album, I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah,
we'll
maybe we're
figure it
done.
out. I think
So-
we've got a lot of music coming.
We still have a lot. We might be bad though.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Uh-oh.
It might be time for Bard City to have a little villain turn. We'll have
We
a
might-
villain.
Well, it won't be
Be in a
like
villain
bad.
area.
It'll be like bad.
It'll be bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Like
honestly,
eating-
that's as close as we're gonna get.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
that's as much of it as information y'all are gonna get right now.
Mm-hmm. If you know, you know, and if you don't, you'll find out.
Yeah.
Or we'll change our minds and
Or
we'll be
you
Yeah.
wrong.
won't. Or you
Or
won't.
you
Or you
get
won't.
nothing.
Yeah, yeah. But you
Or-
know, no, who's gonna call us out? I mean, you might call us
Right.
out, but it's not gonna hurt us. We're fine.
Yeah. Or we do like another love song
We
album.
have no shame.
We
Yeah.
could do that exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no
No.
depth to our shallowness.
We got tons of stuff in the pipeline though, so don't worry.
Hey, big things coming, fam. Big things coming.
Big things coming.
The evil Bard City be like start fires and don't be inspiring. I love it.
Nah, I do like that. That's funny.
That's a shirt there.
Mhm.
So is there anything that y'all in the band are looking forward to in the next few months, or anything that you want to shout out? I know we keep saying this, chat. There are a few things that we have coming up, but we haven't confirmed it officially.
Mhm.
So in the next few weeks, you'll get that. But is there anything like music-wise or gig-wise that y'all are looking forward to before we close this thing out?
A lot of stuff that we can't talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm allowed to say, guys.
Well, Richmond Fair. Richmond
Yes!
Fair. I am so
That's in 2 weeks.
fucking stoked
Mhm.
for.
Yeah.
It is so close. We should practice. Anyway, we'll talk about that
Yeah.
off camera.
Yeah.
But I'm so excited for that. It's gonna be
It's gonna be
rad.
Yeah, that's gonna be great.
we also
Anybody in the
we've
area,
got
please come.
we've got a lot of
More
like
rent
really
fairs?
dope tunes like in the pipeline that I'm excited about.
Mhm.
Stuff about swamp hags or humans dating
Yeah.
elves and the trouble with that, and being a RuneScape scammer, and
Maybe some different instruments on these songs.
True Love's
Yeah.
Fist. So I'm looking forward to it. I think we got some good stuff, y'all.
Yeah.
We're very, very excited. Yeah, no, this was a lot of fun. Thank you all for coming along this fun little journey through this album. It was been a long time coming. We recorded it. Our recording weekend was in April of last year, and a lot of shit happened in between there. And we've learned a lot of things. We've grown a lot. We've met a lot of you guys, and I don't know. It's been really awesome.
It's a fun project.
The next album will definitely not be as long in the works because I think we're gonna pay someone to do it.
We make enough money doing the
We've
band
talked
stuff
about
that we
this.
can have
We can
somebody
get away with
else
it.
do it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Thanks for buying the tapestries, guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of.
That's
Yes,
actually
thank you.
the thing that I'm most excited about is our
There you go.
3 foot by 3 foot tapestries that we have.
Right,
so
and that
proud.
helps fund the album.
Exactly. I mean,
It-
that shit's gonna go like that's right here. That's gonna be right
Mhm.
here.
Yeah,
I'm putting
I've
that up
got-
right there.
I've got a blank wall right there. That's
Yep.
where it's going.
We are
Look up.
so excited to be hanging up on the walls of maybe your bedrooms, maybe your family rooms.
Oh, there we go.
Wherever-
There we
wherever
go.
we-
He's got it.
Did it survive the wash? Is this?
It
is
did.
this
Yeah.
This
It's
is this is
interesting.
post wash. That's
It
awesome.
looks so good.
It looks so
They're
good.
adorable.
Your tracking is struggling.
Yeah, I know. And
It's
those faces.
fighting,
Fuck it.
fighting. But yeah, tapestries are gonna be here in a couple weeks.
Big tapestries coming.
Yeah,
Um,
big tapestry's coming. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it survived the wash, and it's great. So,
Hell
all
yeah.
right.
Well, thank you all so much. This has been a joy,
Yeah.
a lot of fun, and we can't wait to see you all on the next one. Tell your friends about our stream. Come and hang out. We're gonna be playing D&D probably next, or doing some sort of other shenanigans. We'll figure it out. But
Big things coming.
yeah,
Big things coming.
keep coming back to us. Keep coming to hang out. We love talking to you all. We love interacting with you all. Go to our Discord. Every day we're talking on that Discord, being stupid.
We're just chilling. And also, Neon Genesis Franciel. Go watch it.
Yeah, right. It's worth it for just that. Like if you join, watch it.
Really.
And then just forget to leave.
So much effort going into the dumbest bits. It blows my mind every day.
Yeah.
We'll announce Maryland Red Fair soon. I don't know.
Tuesday.
All right, guys. Lowest form of potato is
Mash. It's mash.
Mash.
It's
Agreed.
the lowest form of potato, and I will die on this
I'm
hill.
gonna quit Bard City.
This is
Wow.
You know
I guess
what?
we're just gonna.
I think we're
End
gonna
on a
end on
fight.
that. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. We'll see if the band survives this. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
And we're gone.
I welcome you to Bard City. I hope you decide to hang around. And on behalf of the city committee, here's some fun facts about our town. We have 3 shows in the park, Fridays after 5. And all our music is always played live. You're gonna love